Hi guys, it's Emily. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here with the next and final part of the Cinch journal tutorial. I do have some videos coming up where I'm making some of the things that are going to go inside, but as far as how to put this together, this will be the last of those videos. You're probably all like, finally, that took forever, and I apologize for that, but you know, life. So today we are going to take care of the ends of our spiral. So if you're using the spiral binding as opposed to the other coil that just cinches together, you're left with these ends that, you know, as over time this is going to rotate and those ends will just slowly work their way out. So we are going to take care of that today. And what I'm going to use is a couple of beads. These I got, these are so pretty. I got these when we were in Asheville, North Carolina at this really cool bead store. So I'm going to use those. And I have some, it's like the same thing as E6000, but it's just a different brand, I think. It's Sure Bonder 9001. Same rules apply. It is very toxic, very flammable. You have to be, you know, super careful when you're using this, but it'll hold anything to anything, honestly. I used it to attach the butterfly to the front here. This was one of the pieces that came in that huge assortment of filigree metal pieces from BB Craft. So I just attached that to the front because I thought it looked pretty there with the flowers. So we're going to use that again. I need to grab some parchment paper, or you could use anything really. I just want to put some of the glue on something so I can work with it a bit easier. So I have, I just have a wooden skewer here. You could use a toothpick probably. This is just what I had nearby. So what we're gonna do is pretty simple. I'm just gonna put some of this out on the parchment. I don't need a whole lot, but it's gonna keep coming out because it's just what it does. All right, so put that to the side. And we're just gonna use our little toothpick here and get that, you know, sort of in the bead here. Let's see what I'm doing if I get a little closer maybe. And this takes a long time to set, like at least 24 hours. So I will do this and then I will just let this sit and I won't touch it. I'm going to add a little bit to the actual coil, and then all I'm going to do is push that bead on there like that, and then I'm going to use a binder clip to hold it where I want it. Does that make sense? Because it's kind of, it's just rolling a little, or not rolling. What's the word I'm looking for? It wants to slide down. Actually, it might have stopped. Let me just double check here. Make sure it's gonna stop. Yeah, okay, it's fine. So if you see here, I have a little bit of glue coming out, you know, from the bead. I'm gonna wipe that off. Oops, well, there we go. And then I'm just gonna let that sit like that. Let me grab a wipe here because I got it on my hands. All right, so that'll be fine like that. Actually, I don't need that. And then the next one I might need to hold in place because it's actually going to be upside down. Let's see what happens. Probably should do this in two separate stages, but okay, so I'm just using the skewer to add my glue into the hole of the bead. Okay, like that. And then I'm just going to turn this a little bit here. I'm just adding some right to the actual spiral. And then I'm just going to slide that on. Now, I tested these ahead of time, and my beads were kind of the perfect size, if that makes sense. So they kind of stay on there by themselves, but not, you know, not enough that I trusted it without glue. So let's see. Nothing, all right, nothing's smushing out on that one. So you can see that it's sitting nicely there. There we go. All right. So I am going to just sit this like upright like this on my desk somewhere. Somewhere. Actually, I think I'll just tuck it between a couple of things back here. And I'm just gonna let that dry. Definitely overnight, and I'm gonna keep checking it just to make sure that they're not sliding around on me. And then we can get rid of this. Let me just clean off my skewer. All right, so that is done. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead and show you the next thing that I wanted to show you. So part of this journal, I'm using another kit by Nikki, Musings by Nikki. It's her Naturalist Field Satchel kit. And I wanted to show you what I was going to do with it here. So these are all the little cards, journaling cards that come with the kit, and she has this awesome graph paper background that prints onto those. And hold on a sec, I'm just gonna zoom you in because now we're really far away. There we go. Okay, all right, so this is the actual satchel piece. So what I wanted to do is I want to make it a magnet closure. So these are the little hinge pieces, or little, you know, they look, you know, it looks like it's holding it together, the little straps, and they go on like this. But instead of leaving it like floppy, I'm gonna attach little, little magnets to hold it in place. So I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna separate them, and they need to be far apart because they tend to just gravitate towards each other, as magnets do. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I want the magnets to be on this part. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue those on. Now normally I would do something to cover them. I don't think I'm gonna worry about it too much this time. If they show, I think it's okay. So I'm just using Beacon 3-in-1 and glue strings. I'm just gonna plop that on there like that, and then we'll do the same thing for the next one. Okay, now let that sit for a minute. I mean, you could, normally I would like print out 2 of the same thing and, you know, kind of glue it on top of that. But I didn't this time. but that's okay. I think that's fine. All right, now the other two magnets are gonna go inside the pocket, but we need to kind of put these on. I'll go ahead and glue them on. I'm gonna glue this section to this section. I hope everyone is doing well. We're pretty good here. Bless you. We actually have a new puppy in the house. We had to find a new home for Mila. She, it's kind of a long story. But she is in a good home where I think she will be happier. She started getting very aggressive towards people and Oscar over, well, me and toys and treats and stuff. And I got bit a couple times in the process of trying to work through it. She didn't bite me on purpose. Oscar did bite me as well. There were just a couple instances where, you know, I was trying to correct her and, you know, separate her from the problem, and she didn't want that. But she was just incredibly possessive of me to the point where, you know, my husband couldn't even give me a hug. She didn't want anyone near me. So that was kind of a problem. So we found a new home for her. And at the same time, someone was looking for a home for a 1-year-old Cocker Spaniel, which was perfect. Her name is Pixie, and she is like half the size of Oscar, and she is an absolute sweetheart. And the energy in the house is way better with her here than with Mila. So long story short, Mila is happy where she is. She's in a home with no pets, one person, and you know, she'll be much happier. And we were able to give a home to another Cocker Spaniel. So, all right, now I've got these glued where I want them. I have my magnets where I want them. Oops, sorry about that. Now I'm gonna hold one of the magnets behind here. Actually, I'm just gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? This is even easier. Let's see. Let me see if I can get it. This is gonna be kind of tricky. It should, there we go. Okay. So if you can see inside, my other magnet, there it is, attached to the outside magnet. So I'm gonna just reach my hand in here and hold that where it needs to go, because as soon as I take this off, it's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna stay there. So that's where we want it. And I'm gonna just move it to the side, add my glue. And since the Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1 stays wet, if it's not exactly where it needs to be, when I do this again, it'll pull it where it needs to go. Does that make sense? All right, so that one, that's good. I'm just gonna take that apart again. All right, let that dry for a second. Get that extra glue off. I'm gonna test it again, make sure. All right, and then let's go ahead and get this one. We'll just, it's kind of nice the way that works, because the magnets want to attract to each other, so you can easily figure out where they need to be placed. It's a little bit, it's a little trickier when you're doing this sort of thing, but It's okay. Like I said, with 3-in-1, it's you know, it'll pull it where it needs to go. So, all right, I'm gonna leave that to dry before I do anything else with it. And let me show you again our bead stoppers here. So everything seems to be fine. Make sure they're not slipping and sliding too much here. That one's kind of coming up off the, and with this glue you can move things around a bit for a while. It stays wet for a while, which is good and bad. You know, I'm impatient and I want things to dry now, but you know, that's okay. So yep, we're doing fine. Just keep it where we want it. All right, so I'm gonna let that dry. I'm gonna let this dry, and then I will come back in another video and show you this finished up, and we'll do some more work with some of the pieces that are gonna go inside this journal. All right, guys, I hope you have a fabulous day. I hope this was helpful to you, and I will see you soon. Stay safe and stay healthy. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.